Endgrain. Endgrain is an opening, is all we can see of the long strands that make the pathways for rays, bisecting annular rings, the most vulnerable door of what makes the holiest of things.
Cabin. Eviction people arrive to haunt me with descriptions of summer's wildflowers, how they are carpet of fierce colors. I bet you hate to see us, they say, and yes, I do hate to have to move again, especially from here, destruction brought to place of love. The uneven smiles that win, she's a businesswoman, blonde tints that glow at sunset as profits rise. Alas, what labor I employ, but to ensure a moment's joy, sets branches trembling and arms chilled. Dear one, long returning home, come to clammy, feverish details, muffed sorrow. I turn to throw a tear of rage in the pot. Never remorse, but hint of scruples I'd hope for. It is error, it is speculation, it is real estate, it is the villain and comic slippery words, the work of despotic wills to make money. I scream, take it, take your money, make your money, go on, it's only money. Here's a wall of dry rock, here's an unfinished ceiling, just a little sunlight peeks through this lark. No luminance, exquisite Saint-Etienne stove doesn't work. Ice box either too cold or frozen. Fire screen tumbling down. Kitchen insulation droops, is ugly and a mess. Ah, but love it here. Only surface appearances to complain of. Nothing does justice to shape of actual events I love, but a fight against artificiality, its inherent antagonism, bald hatred of moving, and problem of thirsty fig tree in Burroughs' apartment wakes me up. I don't want to go down there yet, and how to orchestrate the summer properly. The problem of distress and not denying pride from it, too atomized to make pleasure of melancholy, and an uncontrollable enthusiasm for throne and altar. I want to sit high, want simple phalanx of power independent of everything but free will, and one long hymn in praise of the cabin. It is a confession in me impenetrably walled in, like aesthetics, like cosmos, an organ of metaphysics. And oh, this book gives me a headache. Dear Weston LaBarre, let's have an argument, because I see too clearly how rational I must be, and the kernel of my faith corrupted, because you have no reliance on the shaman and outlaw, or how depth of mind might be staggering everywhere except in how important science is. Science? No, he won't be fooled by visions, whereas I wait for dazzling UFOs they announce will arrive high in these mountains. I repair the portal, even invite stray horses in, have a little toy receiving station that sits by the bed at edge of night, all thoughts to place of love, all worries to this place of love. All gestures to the place of love, all agonies to place of love, thaws to place of love, swarthy valley sealed in wood, log burst into flame in home of love, all hearts, dints, and machinations, all bellows and pungency, anti-mundane thoughts to palace of love, all liberty, singularity, all imaginings I weep for. Jack's sweet almond-eyed daughter to place of love, and heavy blankets, and terracing, and yard work, and patchwork, and tenacity, and the best in you surround me, work in me to place my love. Dear cirques, dear constraint, dissenting inclinations of a man and a woman, metonic cycle, all that sweats in rooms, lives in nature, requiems and momentum and trimmings of bushes, dried hibiscus and hawks and shyness brought to this place of love. Trees rooted, fear rooted, all roots brought to place of love, mystery to heart of love, and fibers in sphere of love. A whole world makes spectators of slow flowering of spring and summer when you walk to town for eggs, and continuous hammerings as new people arrive. And today we notice for first time a white-crowned sparrow out by the feeder with the chickadees and juncos, and I missed that airplane dinosaur in dream, nervous to travel again. Miss buds pop open to shudder in breeze. Their tractability makes sudden rise of sensibility. You are shuddering too, and your boy laugh comes less frequent now. You're drawn into accountability. Will I return to find all stuff tidy and silver truck ready to go? It's you in this place I lose, most because it's here in you I forget where I am, this place for supernaturals, perched high in sky and wind, held by wind in stationary motion as bluebird we observe over meadow, or caught up with jet stream dipping in valley's soft cradle. Power and light and heat and radiance of head it takes. Power and light and heat and radiance of head it takes to make it all work, while down there someone building replicas of what it feels like to be a human multitude. Fantasy molded clumsily. Spare my loves and love of glorious architecture when you really put outside in the feeling of cloud or mountain or stone. Having developed an idea of idyllic private life and sovereignty of spirit over common empirical demand. I tell you about renunciation. I tell you holy isolation like a river nears ocean to dissolve. And cabin becomes someone's idea of a good place. Discretion you pay for. It wasn't mine either, but sits on me, imprints on me. Forever, splendor of fog, snow shut strangers out, gradual turn of season, ground stir, pine needle tickle your shoulder, peak curve, fresh air.
The thin man goes home. You are as even-tempered as a frying pan in a sudden downpour. A campsite in disarray, a long time coming. Laughter from 2 yards over. The neighborhood a claim-on space involving multiple parties. It must be Father's Day, judging by the heightened attentions of daughters and sons. Thus a man enjoys solitude, stillness, pink petals of the carrier rose. And in a certain light, the sonic continuum of tires against the road, the sensation of being carried along toward the end of a sentence after the disappearance of the period. Air to breathe, water to drink. The suggestion box is empty. Obsolete equipment piles up in nooks and crannies. This is all wrong. That's messed up. We go on in and make ourselves comfortable. The movie has just begun. It's Nick and Nora Charles and their little dog Asta. They're visiting Nick's parents in the suburbs. He's on the wagon and trying to keep a low profile, but of course she brags about him to the local paper, and soon he's embroiled in detective work despite himself. There is crime everywhere, even here in the suburbs. It must be human nature, desperate characters on the loose. Yoke yourself to your strongest conviction was a piece of advice derived from the why in joy. But Pam doesn't buy that, and I say it sounds too slavish. Remember the Groucho line. These are my principles. If you don't like them, I have others. When the pen runs out of ink, you simply replace the cartridge and continue writing to the sound of jet planes overhead. It's time to revive the typewriter for the benefit of kids now entering the ranks of the scribe force. Sliding the paper under the roller, striking the surface with heavy metal blows. History curls right into the future, a Mobius strip that brings bygone media around and back, with all the drama, character, sound, light, and destiny alive in an imagination of living.
The exorcism. It was homemade and primitive, like pulling a tooth with a string and a slamming door, like taking out an appendix by kerosene light, where dogs wandered in and out the dirt-floored room. Nothing for the pain that everyone wanted to examine, the twisted heart they thought they could shout back into place. Moaning and fluttering their fleshy hands on the wind, on the wail of the soul possessed, they certified her in a manner inquisitional, frantic when she held to the grip of darkness, grimly determined to wait the thing out, something learned from movie sheriffs, white hats ghostly in the moonlight. When she would not answer, though they conjured her by heaven and by all mighty names they knew, they laid hands on her and shouted down the well of her eyes. Many tongues twisted in their mouths when she went, leaving behind only the smallest tooth of wickedness.
The next poem is a voice poem. A friend of mine said it was a drinking song, and it really isn't a drinking song. It's a song written while drinking, perhaps, but it was written in a college tavern where everyone was sitting around singing. Portrait of an old woman on the college tavern wall. Oh, down at the tavern the children are singing around their round table and around me still. Did you hear what it said? I only said how there is a pewter urn pinned to the tavern wall, as old is able to be and be there still. I said, the poets are there. I hear them singing and lying around their round table and around me still. Across the room is a wreath made of a corpse's hair, framed in glass on the wall, as old is able to be and be remembered still. Did you hear what it said? I only said how I want to be there, and I would sing my songs with the lyres, and my lies with all the singers, and I would, but it's my hair and the hair wreath, my cup pinned to the tavern wall, my dusty face they sing beneath. Poets are sitting in my kitchen. Why do these poets lie? Why do children get children, and did you hear what it said? I only said how I want to be there, oh, down at the tavern where the prophets are singing around their round table until they are still.